At Issue with Philadelphia Independent Mayoral candidate Wali Diop Rahman.
Back on NBC 10 at Issue, I'm Steve Highsmith. With me is Diop or Wali Rahman, as it states on the ballot. Diop, so let's continue with police here. On your Facebook page, you say that the police are the flash mobs.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
What do you mean by that?
Well, the same, acts of collective mob, quote-unquote, violence that the youth, particularly black youth in Philadelphia, are being accused of committing in random acts. This is really the type of activity that the police department carries out in the black community on a regular, everyday basis. This, of course, is violence that is sanctioned by the city of Philadelphia and Michael Nutter's administration. And I think that we're going to use the definition of the flash mob that has been upheld by the media and the city hall. We should definitely apply that to what the police do in our communities.
So if I hear you correctly, on day one as mayor, you would say it's a new day and the police department's going to be used differently. You're going to stop and frisk, correct?
Most definitely.
And that all of a sudden you expect crime to stop?
Well, they definitely, the crime being committed by the police department will come to a screeching halt.
What about the crime not being committed by the police department?
Well, the crime that's not being committed by the police department, and by that I think you're referring to robberies, drug dealing, et cetera,
murder,
that happens
rape,
in our communities,
anything.
murder. The vast majority of those who are locked up in the Philadelphia prison system in the state of Pennsylvania are locked up for economic crimes. Even drug dealing itself is a result of the economic conditions in communities in North Philly, South Philly, etc. And I believe that economic development is the real solution to what is being referred to as crime in our community.
But that's a long-term solution, or a mid-term solution at best. You can't create businesses in a day and get everyone fully employed in a day, and fully educated in a day. So what do you do from the time you have the new police policy to the time, this better day happens?
I disagree. I do think it's an overnight solution. In fact, I was just speaking to some men in a halfway house in North Philadelphia, asking, should I become mayor? What can I do for them? They need jobs. They weren't asking me, where can they, get the next hookup on a key of cocaine. They were saying that we need to get a job, because unless...
So you're going to use this $1 billion, because I don't know that you could tap that much, because the courts, it's very tough for the mayor to do that. You can affect the DA's office through city council and other things. But let's say that you get hundreds of millions of dollars somehow. You're saying you're going to use that government money to create jobs.
Most definitely, yes.
How?
Not only that, but in addition, as you know, there are hundreds of millions of dollars being paid out by the city of Philadelphia in the form of contracts for construction of entities in the community, like the Civic Center that was recently built. And you remember the uproar that happened in the city around the lack of jobs being provided to the African and Latino community, even though we are the vast majority of those who live in the city and who are locked out of the labor economy. And these types of contracts should result in the employment of the same people who are locked out of the labor market.
Malcolm X once said, show me a capitalist and I'll show you a bloodsucker. Do you agree?
Definitely, yeah. I think that capitalism is an economic system that's based on exploitation. And I'm opposed to that.
Then, do you believe that Michael Nutter, that Commissioner Ramsey, that DA Seth Williams, Bill Cosby, people who are successful, are they enablers?
Well, the definition of success needs to be further clarified, because I do believe that, for example, Michael Nutter's success has come at the expense of the vast majority of people in my community. It's come at the expense of economic development for the African and Latino community.
Are they collaborators?
Of course, it has come at the benefit of the banks of the major corporations.
People like that who happen to be African American? Do you look at them as signs of success, or do you look at them as forgetting people?
I look at them as collaborators with the so-called 1% that Occupy Philly participants are criticizing right now. I mean, there's a direct link between Michael Nutter's economic policies and the poverty in our community. While he increases taxes for working people, sales tax, sugar drink tax, etc., but nowhere has he mentioned the need to increase the tax on major corporations like Comcast, the Eagles, the Phillies, etc., some of whom actually owe the city in back taxes.
When you're out campaigning, this message, who does it resonate with?
Well, you should tell me. You're one of my constituents or potential voters, and I believe that anybody who comes across this message can't argue with it. It makes perfect sense, and the only way that I would lose this election is for lack of people knowing about my campaign.
All right, more to come. Still to come, Diop on his city council arrest and more ahead on NBC 10 at Issue. Stay tuned.
You're watching the special edition of NBC 10 at Issue.